players can help aggregate demand. It's just one way in which it could help move those oblongs to the right-hand side to create win-wins for both development and industry by taking M4D apps, content and services to scale. And that's what we hope to see in the future. Basically, the axis on the right shows that while the risk may be medium level compared to previously, the scale at which it goes to, the yield at which these services will have, and the extent and people they'll reach will be much, much wider if we can create these relationships between development players and mobile operators. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you so much. Just a summary. So thank you so much. I'm hoping everything is clear from my end, but as I said, I'll be here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, Dr. Boyke. Please stay on for some time so we can have some questions from the floor. Yours was a very comprehensive presentation of what is happening in the field. I'm only surprised that UNICEF is taking so much interest in the spread of mobile telephony, although their main interest is to deal with children.
Yep. Hi. That was a very good presentation. I was pretty impressed. One question I have is that I saw a lot of quantitative parameters through the report and the case studies that you presented. Did you consider any qualitative parameters, any subjective parameters while making this to get a sense more of the people's mind? Like you talked of empathy at one point in your post-analysis. So were there parameters? Yeah.
I think most of those qualitative parameters were set in the consultations we had with what we called thought leaders in the mobile industry, the people working for UNICEF on M4D at the moment, and many of those mobile operators as well. So most of the qualitative data we examined was really gained through those consultations, and the parameters were set within those consultations. Have I understood the question properly? Have I answered the question?
Yeah. Next question, please.
Dr. Khoja, this is Ari from NGS in New Jersey, and this this is about the political situation now in Africa, about the Arab Spring initiatives and the post-Gaddafi times. How do you see that is going to impact the deployment of your projects over there? And I've seen a lot of initiatives from the U.S. government to go forward with some of those areas.
Yes.
And can you highlight us something like what is in your mind, how it will be like, what we should be aware of?
Aware of my personal feeling looking at it, and I think it's sometimes it's too soon to have a real understanding of the impact it may have. And again, it's interesting. It's called the Arab Spring, and we've just gone into autumn, and yet we want to have produce real robust results on the analysis of what happened. But my real feeling is that already it's helped prove the effectiveness of mobile telephony and the effectiveness of the most simple uses of mobile telephony, SMS, the effectiveness of the forthcoming use of mobile telephony, social networking. And I guess if those regimes had been able to put down those uprisings, as we saw regimes attempt to do in Egypt when they shut down the mobile network for a couple of days, people may have questioned the efficacy, the ability of mobile phones to really transform lives and transform nations. But they weren't able to do that. Even in Egypt, where they put down the mobile network, the Arab uprising, the uprising there continued, and mobile phones had their effect. So for me, anyone who questioned the ability of mobile phones to transform people's lives, to transform nations, those questions were really dispelled. I think the argument became unequivocal. That's my initial thought. But again, I'm someone who would like to take a little bit more time to see what the results are. I note yesterday evening, I think it was yesterday evening, I'm not sure, sorry, you guys are 9.5 hours ahead of me. I should say I look slightly better when I've had more sleep. Essentially, I saw that Syria, the Americans had just told Syrian American nationals living in Syria to leave. So the uprising, although it's called the Spring Uprising, is possibly clearly not over. So I'd like to take a little bit more time to reflect on what impact it may have.
Hi, this is Simon from Zorali.
Hi, Simon.
I've just got a question really, because historically when you look at development agencies, a number of them certainly have policies that say they can't actually fund programs with corporates. Obviously, telecom operators are that, and there are a number of growing application providers, content providers, who also have a social enterprise perspective, but get somewhat handicapped. Do you think that's changing? Are there some moving faster than others? What's the...
Simon, I'd like to know which bilateral or multilateral donors at the moment. I think Simon's looking for the mic.
Yeah.
Interesting to know. Sorry.
For example, we've done one project with UNFAO in the past, and the only way to do that is to throw people out of the company and make them consultants. You can't legitimately and easily work as an organization with and several people, several groups, they may not have policy, but they somehow feel averse to working with corporates.
Yeah, I really think that's changing. It's interesting that you said it was UNFAO. One of the things that we did with this study was speak to people working in M3D, but we also spoke to essentially those real decision makers within UNICEF that sign